Good afternoon and welcome to this fourth edition of the annual ATEL Tech Day. So we have a lot of delegates. I'm sure that some are still coming because we have more than 300 let's say people registered and 23, 24 sponsors. So first, thanks to the sponsors and thanks to you to come to this event. Maybe before starting with the different presentation, we have a 13 slot, I guess, but we've tried to prepare a program that could be quite interesting, quite different from what you, let's say, see usually at conferences. And I think that we have a lot of interesting panel you will see with a lot of corporates on scene, and thanks to the corporate to having accepted our invitations. Maybe let's start maybe before by setting the scene and to explain the situation. I think that more than ever we see the weight of technology in our job. You will say and you will think that technology is important for any single finance job or any job. That's clear. But in Treasury, when you think about it, we are certainly the most IT department within finance at corporate level. And so it's quite important. And you will see in some of the slides that the weight is increasing. So the big question from hype to reality, what is feasible? We'll talk about AI, tokenization, a lot of these new things, buzzword, but does it mean that we have real use cases for us in Treasury in a day-to-day life? Navigating Treasury technology choices, it's extremely difficult. You know that we have so many, let's say, solutions. Here we have more than 20 different solutions proposed, but you know that we have a myriad of solutions. And it's why we have decided to create the tech map, by the way, just to categorize the solutions and to have a better idea of who is doing what and providing solutions that could fit with the different needs of our members. So the Treasury solutions are evolving quite rapidly. So speed, what I prefer to call augmented intelligence rather than, let's say, artificial intelligence, and real-time data, because today we are in an area of everything should be real-time. So the treasurers are facing a complex landscape, and finding the right path means that you need to align your strategy, ideally with the IT strategy of the group, with a finance strategy, and make sure that you will have something that will be integrated and scalable. And that's sometimes a very big issue we notice across Europe when we talk to members, that there is an absence of treasury or IT strategy, and especially when it comes to data, but it will be addressed by different panels today. So therefore, what are our goals? So what are we expecting? Operational efficiency, I'm sure. You would like to tend to excellence, risk control or better risk control, and competitive edge. That's the key question we need to address. So as I said, on this chart, just to show that the problem, the technology is evolving faster and more rapidly compared to the evolution or the adoption by the corporate treasurer. So we have always, because we are a bit conservative, because we are busy with other key priorities, because sometimes of lack of budget or other potential hurdles, and we will address some of the hurdles today. One of the main ones could be the human resistance or reluctance to adopt the new technologies. So we have a certain gap. So it's coming, we know it's coming, but we don't know exactly when it will come. Same with the driver, the taxi without drivers. So it's coming, but we don't know exactly when we will be able to have all the taxis without drivers and automated cars. When you think about it, just a second. Yeah. So what are the hot topics for 2026 and onwards? So as I say, real-time payment or real-time everything. So we would like to have a clear and total visibility. So an API-driven connectivity. We are really tending to that trend. AI-powered cash flow forecasting and risk analytics. We will talk about different solutions on that specific area. As I say, tokenization, the digital currencies and the digital assets, it's something that really is key priority for the ECB and for the EU Commission. We talk a lot at EACT level, by the way, with a different civil servant to see where we could have interesting use case for us, because ECB is really ready to launch the digital euro, but they would like to make sure that this a stable coin, digital euro, tokenization of assets will be really useful. ESG integration, even if with the Omnibus project and the Draghi report, we expect that it will have, let's say, a lower or at least a lighter weight on our reporting, but still it's an issue. And cybersecurity, cyber risk, we will also address this important risk in another session. If you look at the recent, and thanks to PwC, the global Treasury survey of PwC, it's a worldwide survey with I guess 400 or 400 plus multinational companies. You can see the top-down priorities for CFOs and treasurers. It's rather aligned. But you can see that treasury technology and digital transformation, it's number 6. But when you think about it, all the other priorities, if you want to improve, to enhance risk management, market risk, I don't know, funding, etc., you need technology. More and more technologies impacting all the priorities. And it's interesting to see in the, let's say, right-hand side, some of the figures, a lot of, let's say, processes, like, for example, FX. More than a third of the FX process are still manual. So it's quite scary. So we have headroom for improvement. We need to make sure that we go on the right step to automate our processes. Achieving the real-time digital treasury, it's the ambition. The idea will be to have a 24/7 liquidity visibility, instant cash positioning will be the new norm. So we have instant payment. I was talking about tokenization, tokenized deposit. We will have very soon a case study with Ant. We will explain, so what are the use case for corporates. So everything will be real-time, but it means that we will manage liquidities 24/7. So potentially, we can imagine, especially with instant payment and some other way to pay, that we will collect money several times during the day, and so potentially we will have to replace and place against the excess cash or to readjust your treasury. And potentially also over the weekend, during the working hours, during the bank holidays. So the idea will be to automate, because you cannot, of course, have shift. I cannot imagine that we have shift in treasury, but we can imagine that the machine will do the job. As, for example, a solution are already proposing for FX, you can have machine working 24/7 and making sure that your position will be properly hedged according to a policy you have predefined earlier. So dynamic forecasting, dynamic hedging, it will be also the trend. So we'll be more proactive than we are in at the moment. So with the machine, we'll change the way we manage the things and try to have more, let's say, rapidly and more, let's say, reliable information to take decision, or system that could be also decision-making, because today I keep thinking that a lot of solutions are not really providing those decision-making, let's say, proposal. They are more proposing reports that will, after analysis, come to conclusion and to actions. So we need to be resilient, we need to be agile, we need to automate processes. The consequence for liquidity and risk, of course, instant decision-making on investment, funding, risk exposure, so we will be faster to react. So as I say, more proactive. We will be able to adjust our portfolio. So a lot of companies, large multinational companies, are, let's say, on a regular basis, reviewing the strategies and adapting the strategies to the current situation, especially with a high volatility or a volatility that is not always correlated as it was in the past. So it's important to be more, let's say, reactive. So we improve also the compliance, internal controls. Internal controls is really key if we want to mitigate the risk of fraud, the risk of, let's say, cyber attacks. So we need to have solid internal controls. And a greater reliance on data quality and dashboard. We will talk about that because the quality of data is key for being successful. As I say, we have some risks and we have some hurdles. So the adoption, or will we adopt, and are we ready to adopt the new technologies? Do we have the budget? Because very often the key issue is the budget. Regulatory is also quite important. We have more and more regulation, and the regulation though, like PSD2, PSD3, like MiCA, DORA, and some of the other regulations are ahead of technology, so it's quite important. And then expectation from the C-levels. They would like to have better quality information. So for that, we need to be reactive, and you need to talk to the right actors to make sure that you can automate your processes. So choosing the right treasury solution, extremely difficult. So it's why we try to help. And one of the examples is a treasury tech map we have developed. Other things is to propose solutions like a tech guide, just to give you some ideas how to best manage your, let's say, RFPs, and to make sure that you are quite comprehensive when it comes to the long list or the short list of IT providers you need to contact. So the future, human plus digital. So we have a certain harmony, so don't be afraid. A lot of people seem to be afraid about the technology. Where will be my job in the future if we automate that? I keep thinking that the role will evolve. We will talk about that in one of the sessions. So we'll need different expertise. The treasurers will be, the treasurer of the future will be certainly, let's say, more skilled, upskilled compared to today. But we'll see that there is still a place for treasurers. Let's compare to a plane. So I'm not sure that you will jump in a plane and take a plane if there is no pilot, although we have automatic pilot for years and they can take off and land without any problem. So the journey is ongoing. We need to invest in upskilling the team, in hiring maybe new skills, and also I think that we should challenge the statu quo and try to explain to the management that it makes some good sense to invest in technology. Treasury Tech Map, you can go. I think it's a good tool where we have tried to categorize the different, let's say, solutions. And feel free, if you're not on the map, to tell us and to contact us. And I also wanted to mention that we release, as I said, the tech guide. So if you want to download the tech guide, I don't know if it's the last slide. Maybe it will be the next slide. Carol, I'm sure that you have inserted the slide. Yeah, the tech guide. So do not hesitate to scan the QR code. I hope that you can see it at least on the screen. Mine is a bit shorter. But you can download the tech guide, and where you have a lot of interesting feedback from our sponsors. So thanks a lot for your attention.